Hi everyone, I am starting off the Glamlite Happy Hour 3 Looks 1 palette series with the Dirty Martini palette. This, honestly, I should have done this so much longer ago, but better late than never. I am kind of salty I bought these at full price, considering I didn't even get around to starting to film these until after Black Friday when they were 40% off, so if you indulged during then, congratulations, at least you didn't make my mistake. But I still, so far, have been really enjoying working with all of these. Now, my overall impression after using several of these palettes a few times is that the mattes are okay. As you can see, they are perfectly workable, but I find that they don't build to the pigmentation in the pan for the darkest shades without some significant effort. So I think they're fine, but they're not the best that I've ever had. Now that being said, as you can see here, the shimmers are a completely different story, and this is what I tend to find to be the case with indie brands, is that their mattes are oftentimes either mediocre or they're fine, but they don't stand out to me. However, it's the metallics that are really going to catch my attention, and the metallics and the shimmers and other foiled finishes you find with indie brands is why I shop indie personally. So I very rarely find an indie brand whose mattes are going to blow me away, with Sydney Grace being the only real exception to this rule, but by and large, you really can't find a shimmer equivalent to most of these on the mainstream market without some really hard searching. So I still would wholeheartedly recommend these palettes. I especially love this green one the most right now because I am such a sucker for green shadows, and I feel like for some reason it's been really hard to find really good green shadows in the mainstream market. I don't know, I'm always on the hunt for a good green palette. The only thing this palette is lacking, as you can see here, is some kind of inner corner highlight shade. So you noticed I just went into Becca, I think it was Pearl, it's the really white one, I just went into that, and that was how I completed this look. Now for the second look, I'm going to be starting off with the greener shade, so this is going to be much more green than the first look was. I do find the inclusion of some rosy toned metallics and some more blue toned mattes to actually add quite a bit of variety to this palette, so it ends up feeling like I can do a lot with it. But that being said, I got this for the green, so we're playing around with the greens. This shade here I'm using, I believe it was called Dirty Martini, is surprisingly light on my eyelid, but that makes it excellent for blending out the darker colored green I just put down. The dark brown, I think, while boring, is an absolute crucial addition because there's nothing like an earthy tone green with an earthy tone brown for an earthy look, I guess, and I just find this brown to harmonize super well with all of the greens. I don't think I would use this with the blue, but they're both pretty similar in terms of intensity, so they're not, I don't think those are meant to be used together. But as you can see here, the colors are interacting with each other really well. And then I'm just taking the green from earlier to put on the inner half of my lower lash line. Now I wanted to see what would happen if I used this as an inner corner highlight. Since the green I used is fairly dark, this metallic is too dark for an inner corner highlight for like a softer look, but it does work for this one. And now I'm going to go in with this brighter green metallic. You can just see the metallics in this palette are really just so beautiful, and this is the case for all of the other palettes in this collection. So no matter which palette you get, the shimmers are really not going to disappoint at all. So definitely no worries there. Now I'm just going to try and darken up this brown a little bit. You can see what I'm talking about here, where I feel like I can't quite get these mattes to build up to look exactly how they look in pan. They look fine, it's just, you know, not quite there. I think I just used mascara for this. It's been a while since I filmed this, so I'm voicing this over and some time has passed, but I think I just used mascara because my lash lift was still super fresh. I definitely really like when I have a lash lift because I feel like I can just get away with mascara more often. And then I just have a more corally toned lip. Can't remember what it is, sorry. The last look I feel like is kind of messy, but I was realizing that I need to make sure I use as many shades in this palette as possible so that you guys can see every single shade on display. Even after this, I think there might have been a shade or two I missed, so really sorry about that. But yeah, I wanted to try and do something a little bit more intense, a little bit more colorful, because I felt like my first two looks just were, you know, a little bit basic. I wasn't really straying too far out of my comfort zone. I've been having some serious issues with chronic fatigue ever since like the beginning and the middle of October. I thought it would just be like a passing thing, but it's like the beginning of December when I'm voicing this over and I still don't feel any better, so if you'll excuse the decreased quality in my looks. But at the very least you can see the shadows being used, you can see how they perform, so hopefully the demonstration is still helpful for you guys. You can see here I'm just starting to just kind of try to use tons and tons of shimmers in one look just so that I can cover my bases. It does lead to the look looking a little bit messy, maybe a little bit muddy, but oh well. I had fun just jamming metallics all over my lids. I mean, I had fun doing that, so I guess that's all that matters. And that's gonna be this. I decided this look would be a little bit more improved if I put on some eyeliner really quick, so I added some black eyeliner, and I think that tied everything together so that it doesn't look too bad. I could have definitely worn a bolder pair of false lashes with this, but I think I just ended up wearing a really subtle pair, I think is what it was. Yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching.